if you worked at a McDonald's, no one asks like, how do you feel about making the fries? How do you feel about, like changing out the shake machine or cleaning out the shake machine? No one cares. So the thing is like, you got to focus on the metrics of which matters.
Awesome. So welcome to the Agent Q&A. You got your host here, John. We got Joanne. We got Albert. We have a lot of good topics for today, but first off, do you guys have any questions? Anything you guys want us to address?
Okay, my question is on the IUL, if I want to start IUL, is there a special training like annuity?
No. So they're asking if there's a specific like certification, product training from the back end before you have to sell. No. So with an annuity, you do. IULs, you don't. You just, from your standpoint, you got to know how to create a product and create an illustration, but there's no specific mandatory training for it to start selling it.
There's no state required training. Certain carriers like NLG, I don't know if there was an annuity training or a life training.
Not for IUL, not that I know.
So maybe it was the state of New York.
Yeah.
So certain states may have it. So state of New York, I remember I submitted an application in the state of New York for NLG, and then they were like, hey, you missed the training. And I'm like, I didn't know there was a training. Generally, no, it's not like an annuity where you need to knock a certain number of hours first for the state.
Okay.
We attended this morning an annuity training with is that FL?
Brad Allen. Was it Brad Allen?
It's America. It's they want you to submit everything to ask the specialist.
Yeah, AMS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm just wondering if we are contracted with a specific company, insurance company, are they going to provide us the illustration so we can practice and not bother the corporate office for helping illustration?
So corporate office is really good, especially when you're brand new, because they'll give you their input. And more importantly, you may only be contracted with one or two carriers, whereas they're all contracted with all of them. So they can provide you an illustration for multiple things. The only drawback to that is, I just used them recently. I requested information on, I would say a Monday, maybe a Friday. They get back to me 2 days later, 2 business days. So it just takes longer in time compared to you learning how to do it and then being able to get everything illustrated right on the spot.
You're talking about the SRS department,
yeah,
Simple Retirement Solutions.
Yeah.
So I've actually dealt with this for a couple of new agents recently. So one, he said he had experience with IULs, and then he was like, "Hey, do you have some time? Can you walk me through the software?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we spent a little bit of time. I'm like, "Generally, this is how it goes." And then turns out that I don't think he knew very much about. Maybe the interface was different for that carrier. So he was like, "Hey, are you available when I do the application? Can you sit on me with the whole time so we can go through?" I'm like, first of all, I mean, I don't know it that familiar. I'm not that familiar with it where I can walk you through it without looking at it. But also I'm like, utilize your resources. So the thing is, if you call the carrier, ask for the sales help desk, they are super helpful. So the thing is, they'll take the time, they'll walk you through it because they want your business. It's a business relationship. I had that agent call, and then afterwards he did the application. I was like, "How was it?" And he was like, "Oh, they're so helpful. They're so great." And I'm like, "Yeah, they actually probably know the process." Or I'm not even gonna say probably. They for sure know the process better than I do. So I'm like, "Why don't you just go to them directly?" This is what their job is dedicated to do. So if you guys need help learning the illustration software, if you guys have general questions, obviously reach out to your upline. We'll be more than happy to help you with that. But if you're trying to go in depth and trying to figure out how do I navigate through the website, how do I run illustrations, how do I do the application, that's they're the experts.
Yeah. So two-part. If you want to get multiple quotes or presumably the best IOL product for the scenario that you want, if there's a super crazy scenario, let me use my scenario. My client most likely didn't understand IUL and how they work. They wanted to see a guaranteed product. They wanted to see the guarantee that it's going to last till age 100 or age 90. Because, when you're looking at the IUL, there's going to be the guarantees, non-guarantees. And then sometimes the guaranteed side is going to be short. It's going to be like 15, 20 years. expires to 80, so they wanted to see it till 90. Well, we used to have two products with that we don't sell anymore. So we had Global Atlantic's Cordia, the Foundation Elite. They stopped doing it. And then Mutual of Omaha used to have the GUL guaranteed, and you can choose 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. They stopped selling it. So I said, okay, well, I'm out of options that I know of. Let me go email, ask a specialist. And they provided another product all the way till age 121. It was more pricier than other IULs. So this is their benefit. It could be past your level of expertise. They can canvas a lot of the additional insurance carriers. But once you know, let's say you want to go with Mutual of Omaha with FNG, a specific carrier that you want to sell, then you just got to figure out how to do the illustration. That's when you would want to call the carrier themselves. You let them know the situation, and then they'll help you out with an illustration. The FNG is really good. They'll walk you through. They'll teach you how to do it. Some carriers, they'll just send you the illustration. So then you can kind of figure it out on your own. So I did both. Before I asked the specialist, I actually called one of the carriers. I called Transamerica because I haven't used them before. And they were confused, like, what? Guaranteed at this point? We don't have that. So it's like, it doesn't make sense and it beats the purpose of the IUL. So I would just do this. It's like, okay, I got it. I tried something else. Hopefully that helps.
Oh yeah. So actually I got the email already from FNG. And then when I, because they want me to review the thing, and then, but it's showing only for fixed life. And I requested, to be able to do IUL. So when I called them, they said that it will take a week and a half. I will get another email for the IUL.
Well, the IUL is fixed. We can only sell fixed IULs, index universal lives. We can't sell variable IULs.
Oh yeah, I know. But in the contracting, it show fixed life. Is that IUL included in there? In the fixed life?
I'm not aware of any term or whole life products that they sell. I know they only sell IULs.
Because what we understood is there is another department that we have to connect with.
For IUL.
For IUL.
So the contracting link that was sent out to you specifically was for the IUL product. So you barely submitted the contracting for that product, I believe, yesterday. So typically they do take about 5 to 7 days to be able to assign your writing number. But you should, once you are assigned or once they complete your contracting, you should have access to doing the IUL product.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering, because in the email, yesterday I received and I look it up, it's a fixed life. So I guess the IUL we are doing is included in that fixed life.
Yeah, you could try. So when you go to the portal,
and
we can go more in depth after the call. But if you go on the portal, you go under sales tools, I believe, and then you do the drop down. It'll say illustrations. You select that, and then you enter the client's information, you select the product, you select the state, there's a drop down from there. It'll ask what type of product, and index universal life should populate within the drop down. So if you don't see it, then maybe it's taking a little bit of time for them to add that to the portfolio, but otherwise you should be okay. Yeah. We'll double check later.
Okay, we'll check later then.
Yeah. I have contracting with the annuity side and the FNG side and the life side. They only have the IUL for their life, and then they have the annuity. So the fixed life should be the IUL.
Okay.
Also, I know that you guys have done IULs in the past. Are you guys familiar with how to design an IUL and put together an illustration?
Well, it's kind of a little bit different. The one in Canada, the IUL, it's not, there's no zero. I mean, it can go below zero, but at the same time, there is a bonus that is included. So the client will get 2 bonuses. One is, based on their performance of the market, and the other one is bonus because they are consistently paying, the premium every month. So they get 2 bonuses. So we do the premium is usually 20 years. And after that, they can stop paying the premium. And then the cost of insurance eventually will be paid by the bonus that they're getting. So by and by, it's like no more cost of insurance.
It's kind of like when you do a 401k, they're doing a 401k matching. Yeah. So when you put in, they do a little bit of matching, and then that matching will offset basically because you're doubling the premium payment.
Yeah, well, every carrier has like slight nuances where they're a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, if you have a general idea of how to put together an IUL, it shouldn't be too difficult. So I mean, the interface will look different. There's a few nuances as mentioned that might be slightly different, but overall, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, we should be able to help you walk through the basics in terms of how to structure it, how to build it out according to each individual tailored client. So yeah, it'll be fine.
If you guys enjoy, I'm saying it too many times.
Thanks for joining us so far. That's all I remembered.
We can continue to share with other people. We probably need to redo it, right? Hey guys, thanks for joining us. If you guys have found this stuff helpful up to this point, or you guys would like to see some other stuff,
please like and subscribe and create a comment so we can cover that next topic.
And continue watching the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. It will take us, while we really want to learn the thing first before we, start talking to people. I just want to, start with people that we really, really know, so that we make
And this is where we can help you. Yeah. So the best thing is having your character or your client profile, their scenario. How old are they? What's their, income that they want to put into the IUL? How can they overfund it or not? Okay.
Right.
So we mentioned it before, but with the IULs, you have an accumulation product and you have more of a death benefit product. Right. And if they're too old, sometimes it's not enough to accumulate, then we push a death benefit product. So
yeah. And also, where do we find the client's worksheet? Where do we find those forms?
Yeah, it's on the Google Drive. It should be under agent info. And then once you click on agent forms, you'll see field materials. It's on the field materials folder.
No.
When you mention about Google Drive, is that like a website or what is it?
Because we don't know what, we are not familiar with Google
link
Drive.
to
it. There's a link in the welcome email. If you go back in there, if not, we'll send it to you guys. We'll send you the link. You can bookmark it onto your phone, and then just put a star next to it, so that way it always pops up when you open the Google Drive application.
Yeah, it's an application by Google. So you can actually go to your iPhone, download Google Drive on the App Store. And then as long as you're logged in to your Gmail account and you've been invited to the Google Drive, you have access to it. So it's a website link. We can send it to you and you can always open it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. You have to be very patient with us because, we are very, old school. And, I'm just trying our best to, to catch
It's a cloud
up with.
file.
Yeah, we'll make sure to send that out to you guys.
I just sent it to you, so you guys have it.
It's a cloud file. It's a storage.
Like for you, it's like, okay, all you have to do is just click this, click that. But to us, it's like, what? And it's like a new world out there.
And don't worry, you guys can always repeat the same questions. We're very patient. We understand because when a new agent comes in, there's so many things flying at you. We might be able to just say it one time, but of course you got something else you're looking at and then you forget about that part. So do not worry. Keep asking us. The more questions you have, the better.
Plus, I mean, you guys already have been in the industry for a while. You guys have sold IULs. I mean, so really you guys already know what you're doing. The only thing is every time you get a new carrier, you come into a new organization. I mean, you just got to just figure out that language, right? Because at the base of it, we know what it's about. But our job is to try to help you try to bridge that gap faster. So the more questions that you guys ask, I mean, as long as you guys are working, you guys are building towards something, like we'll always make time.
Yeah,
it's just if you get to a certain point where it's just question after question, and there's no plans on working, and there's no leads, and it's not that we don't want to waste time. It's just we got to spend time with the people that are actually working. But at this phase, I mean, ask away.
Yeah, it's like you get
happy to help.
It's like when you buy a new car and now you're looking for the knobs. Where are the knobs? Right. Where's the volume? Where's the what's on the wheel?
Like when you get a rental car, like you know how to drive.
Yeah,
it's just like, where's the e-brake on this thing? And,
yeah. How do you pop open the gas? So on the left or the right? That's all. Once you guys get accustomed to things, you guys will take off and running.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No,
not yet.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to go into the main topic today. So I saw something by Brian Tracy on YouTube, and the topic for today is more about habits And so we're going to go over his habits, his top 6 habits, and we're going to expand on this within the business, within the agency, within the insurance industry as well. So these are the common top 6 habits of the most successful people. We're going to start off with the daily habits of goal orientation. So Brian Tracy mentioned, having the journal, creating, your top 3 goals for the day, end your day with creating more goals for tomorrow. So that way you're always thinking about what's the next move, right? And he mentioned, if you become what you think about most of the time. So if you keep thinking about your goals, you're going to end up achieving there. So as an agent, as a builder, what would be a good scenario, a good example of a daily goal setting?
Well, as far as journal, I mean, that's kind of you personally.
Mhm.
I think if you're going to take notes, like, have a little notebook or have my digital notebook that I just write on.
Yeah.
So I'll scribble notes, and then sometimes I'll go back and I'll flip through and I'll look at a year ago and I'm like, I just wrote like one word and I'm like, I remember what I was thinking about, during that time. So it helps to kind of track your progress that way. Now, the thing is, in this business, it shouldn't be too feeling oriented. It shouldn't be about like, how do I feel right now?
Right.
Because it's like, it's a job.
Mhm.
Right? Like if you worked at a McDonald's, no one asks like, how do you feel about making the fries? How do you feel about, like changing out the shake machine or cleaning out the shake machine? No one cares.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, you got to focus on the metrics of which matters, which is in this business. I'm like, we're working on a project right now with a few people. And the thing is, like, I'll ask, they'll be like, oh man, this sucks, or this is great, or whatever. And I'm like, all right, how many leads did you get?
Yeah.
How many appointments did you book? How many people did you speak to? How many did you close? And like, I never asked like, hey, how did you feel about talking to that one lady in Iowa? Because it's irrelevant.
Right.
We can't track this stuff. So as far as the journal part, maybe that part, it's not a bad idea to take down notes if you want to like recollect later and measure certain things. But the most important thing is tracking numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And a daily journal that's the important part as far as tracking your business, whether the steps you're taking is correct or incorrect, if it's something you need to alter, whatever it is, track your numbers.
Yeah. So I would say, within the journaling, we had a great call with Nick Caban, and he mentioned, $200 gets me to a sale. So if you got to create your daily goals, make that one of them. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to make sure I do $200 so I can make a sale. And you track that. So you journal later on that day. Did you accomplish that goal or you didn't? Right. And then you could journal out, what were my distractions? What happened? How did I accomplish it, or why didn't I accomplish it? Any input, Joe?
No, I kind of agree with both of you guys said. I mean, like, journaling works for some individuals, and for others, it just really, I don't know, like, it just doesn't click for them to do it. But for me, I like taking notes and I like writing down my goals, and then also like going back and seeing if I did accomplish those goals, or just marking them off as I'm achieving them during the day. And then at night, obviously, like setting goals for the next day, or or like just, I don't know, like concluding in your mind or on paper how that went for you.
Yeah. By writing it down, it manifests it. And you get to either figure out if you realized it or not.
Yeah. Or at times, like, I think it also helps in like calming your mind to be able to kind of like step away from your day to day. Because I mean, for the agents that are actively working, I mean, they're on the calls, if they're doing 200 dials a day, that they are getting hung up on, that there's a lot of things within those 200 dials that arise. So I do think like it's important for them to be able to just conclude, like, how did that go? How did those conversations go? And just kind of note take and see where they can tweak up their skill. Because every conversation is different. And so they're not going to gain the same experience every single day.
It's really important when you do that at night, because if that's the last thing you were thinking about, when you go to your subconscious dreaming, your mind's going to give you those answers, whether, you remember it. And then the next day you're back to thinking about, you reboot and you're thinking about your goals again.
Yeah.
And one thing that John does a lot, and I've noticed about him, and I do it from time to time, we just pull out our iPhones, take a little note. But it's different from actually physically writing it down, which is the reason why I got one of those writable things.
Yeah.
Because, when you write it out, you can draw lines across.
Yeah.
John writes out in which you can barely read.
That's why I
'cause
like
his- 'cause his
typing on my
penmanship is
notepad.
so terrible.
So I do notepads.
But it's important, you know. So the thing is, whatever you think about the most does manifest around you. You know, so if it's important to you, start taking notes. If you want to eliminate some of the emotional component of the business, track your numbers.
So we're gonna go into number 2, which adds into that. He went and said, be results oriented. Okay. So you want to list everything you have to do. So Kevin O'Leary mentioned that too. He learned from one of the successful people. They would do a notepad and they would just write down 1, 2, 3 things that they got to accomplish that day. But Brian Tracy breaks it down and even says, after you list it, now you want to prioritize it. Okay. What's that one out of all the things you've listed down? What is the most important thing that you had to do? Right. And then if you tackle that every single day, you're going to get the most important thing accomplished.
Yeah.
Right. So what would be the one most important thing in our business? Would you guys say?
I would say probably making those dials for the agents.
Yeah, that or buy leads.
Yeah. What is the most important thing? Well, our most important thing is we got to sell in front of a client, right?
Oh.
How do you get to sell in front of a client? You got to dial. So when we see a lot of agents talk about like, I'm gonna study this material first. I'm gonna go read up and watch some more YouTube videos. That's not the most important thing. You could do that at 10 p.m. and in your drive time. But what's the most important thing when it hits 8 a.m.? You got to get on the phones.
Well, I say buy leads because I don't know about you guys, but
Sure.
I don't want to spend money and then not try to get something out of it.
Right.
Like if it's a business venture, like the thing is, if I paid for a lead, like this past weekend was a perfect example. I was traveling, I was out in Atlanta, I was busy doing stuff out there for some personal stuff, and then a lead came in, and I'm like, I was hoping it wouldn't come in because I didn't want to work, but I'm like, it came in already. I'm paying for it. You know, so like
as well.
sat there and just dialed it and then like didn't pick up. Then I sent the text message like, hey, just getting back to you, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it activates the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing is like, if it were up to me, based on how I feel, if I wanted to go and work,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it
You would have pushed
Yeah.
that the next day or the next few days.
until I'm desperate. I need money or whatever it is.
Right.
But so for me, I put certain steps in my business where it's just like automatically comes in. And then if you buy leads, you're going to work.
Yeah. But I agree with what else said. It would be like buying leads because if they don't have leads, how would they call?
Yeah.
Like who would they call? So yeah.
Yeah. And then also, being results oriented to get you set up in the right way. I would even recommend, making sure to start your dial day, have an appointment at the start of your dial day so you can't miss it. So if you're going to start at 8 the day before or previous days, book an 8 o'clock appointment. So that starts your day and then you keep on rolling. So number 3, be people oriented. So look into things about your business on how you can help more, how you can help others so they can help you back. What are the key things that you guys can add to that in our business?
Well, I mean, I know Joe and I do this every single day. So like, we're talking to people all day long, which I love.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just spending time with someone and they're they haven't really gotten to work yet. They're not a top producer by any stretch. Maybe they're a new agent trying to hype themselves up, trying to get themselves psyched up to get started. So for me, I mean, like it's always exciting. I like to cultivate a little bit of relationship with them. And the thing is, don't know how it's going to play out exactly because they got to prove their work ethic.
Yeah.
They got to prove their actual commitment to this business and their business. But as far as me, I'm like, well, the thing is, we could just have no relationship. They can call me or not call me when they need something.
Yeah. I'd
rather just let them know, all right, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with you. We're gonna try to make it business productive. And the thing is, if later on, if something comes up and you feel like you need help, but you're reluctant, we've developed this relationship. You feel comfortable reaching out to me because I'll be there for you.
Right.
So I think that's something that I try to put my attention into, and just to make sure I at least let people know I'm available when they need it. And then however it turns out, that's the unknown. That's the part that we're going to figure out as we go along. So,
but I think it's that initial contact, right? You have to invest in your people because at the end of it all, if they make money, you make money. But if you leave them alone and they're not making money and they probably are looking for guidance, but they're too shy to ask for guidance.
Right.
It's a long lost history of a relationship, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But in all that, I think like it is really important to initially always be able to understand what the agent is trying to accomplish and what they're bringing to the table as well. And then that way it just makes it easier for them and for you when they're, integrated into the team. And then you can also see, you know, because I mean, it in my experience, it's like some new agents will say like, or they have like a bigger picture in mind, but when it comes down to like taking action and getting started, it kind of takes them a little longer. But if you, ask them the like real questions and see where they're actually struggling or see why they're looking to move to another agency or, ask them like the real stuff, and not shy away from having them open up and see why they're seeking a new opportunity. I think it just solidifies your relationship and makes it easier on both parties, because then you have a better understanding what they're looking for, and then you can also just integrate them into what we already have plugged into the agency.
Yeah, and that expands your business too, because now you're learning to ask the right questions, and then you're going to scale bigger because now you know how to filter those things out.
Yeah,
it's good. So number 4, be health oriented. So he talked about eating less food but eating more of the good food. I didn't write that part, the good food. And then he mentioned, the 3 main things, you want to have good rest, adequate, food and exercise. Expand on that about our business. Like who's like slept in before or who didn't get enough sleep, and how does that relate to your business when you're a little bit sleep deprived?
I'm sure we've all been through it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, we all go through different emotional stages in our lives. Maybe a girlfriend broke up with you. Maybe you're having a fight with your parents. Like who knows?
Or also with like age, I feel like your habits have to change, because you can't still continue to eat like you were 18. You can't continue to like do the exercise you were doing when you were 18, or like you have to switch it up and make it work for where you're currently at.
For your sleep, what's your sleep dead time like? You can't sleep past this or it's going to ruin your day.
Yeah. So for me, I'm awake at like 5 a.m. and I'm asleep by 10.
So if you go 10:30, 11, it's going to throw you off.
It doesn't really throw me off, but I just know that I perform better when I get my rest. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then when it comes down to like food, it's important. Like for me, I don't know. I just don't like eating like stuff that's just bad for you. Like the empty carbs, like the bunch of bad sugars and stuff like that, because ultimately it just doesn't really provide me with like the energy that I need to like make my day as productive as possible. So yeah, so I think all those things kind of play into it.
What about you, Bert?
All that stuff totally applies to me.
But someone going through.
I'm like, he's like staring into my soul.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to have fun. I love a good whiskey. I love cigars. I love like staying out. I love spending time with people. So I used to be able to do that, and there was no consequences.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I'd bounce back, no problem. I could pull an all-nighter, sleep maybe an hour, sometimes not even sleep. I just go and I'd shower, go to work, and I'd be fine. Didn't used to need very much sleep. I would sleep maybe 3 hours a night.
Jeez.
And then I'd feel fine. And then I hit a certain point in of certain age.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, started slowing down, and like it just like that momentum just couldn't carry me forward anymore. And I just felt like fatigued, or I was dragging throughout certain parts of the day. And I'll be like, oh man, I just need another drink. And I haven't, not in an alcoholic way, but I'm just thinking like, like I've been indestructible up to this point.
Yeah.
And then I hit a certain age. I think it was like once I hit 40, right? It was just like slowing down. And then you would start feeling like the type of junk you put into your body, like it no longer
serves you.
No longer, it never served you. It was served you in terms of having fun.
I feel like
it didn't serve you,
or like it would get you through.
Right. No, I feel like the junk in your food, like it hurts you now. Like
now it does.
Well,
you feel it the next day, or you feel it, later that night.
Yeah.
Right. Your metabolism slows down, and you can't bounce back the same way that. So Bryce, you got to enjoy your days if you want now, or you can avoid all that and actually just skip it because it's no good for you.
Yeah, I judge food now. Like there's like a lot of tomatoes. Like, oh man, I'm gonna get heartburn. Nah, I can't have it. It looks good. Maybe I'll do a little bit.
And I'm like, am I getting old? And like I've been in denial about this, but yeah, I mean, you definitely need to make a conscious effort. Now, the thing is, what are you doing it all for? Do you want to live a long time? Do you want to live a healthy life? And why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
You know, because the thing is, I do want to live a long, healthy life because there's a lot more in business I want to accomplish. There's a lot more relationships I want to continue to cultivate. There's a lot more things that I need to do in my life before I die.
Right.
And then I can't do it if I'm working at half capacity. Like I've been getting gout.
Yeah.
You know, I got it a couple of times, and yeah, it's because I drink too much. You know, I eat a lot of rich fatty foods, and I totally recognize it's my responsibility. It's because of my actions. I'm the one that caused it. It didn't used to affect my body so much as it used to, but now that I'm getting up in age, like, you know, you gotta recognize, all right, well, I recognize the causality of this thing.
Yeah.
How do I remove this if I want to get things done? And the thing is, like, yeah, I could be laid up in bed and not do anything. Like I'm my own boss, but that sets me back professionally.
Right.
It sets me back. Like if I want people to be able to depend on me, like I can't help them if I can't help myself.
Yeah.
So these are things I just unfortunately need to be mindful of. It's it's going to be
You
good
gotta
for
be
me
an
long
adult about-
term. It sucks for me short term because I love drinking.
Yeah.
I love being able to just like hang out with buddies, like pop a couple bottles of wine and let's hang out, let's talk, and let's have some cigars. But now it's just like, guess I gotta be an adult.
Or you just know the next day it's gonna be shot.
Yeah, it's good. And I can't really accept that anymore. It's like I can't be struggling the entire next day because I wanted to have a little bit too much fun the previous night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, try to eat better. I mean, and I'm still human. I'm still gonna mess up at times.
Right.
And then, but I do got to plan ahead. I'm like, if it's a Saturday night, Sunday, I'm probably not gonna be working in the morning, so might as well
Yeah, you'll
try
have
it
that.
tonight. Gotta be
Yeah.
selective about it.
Yeah. Just think of your body as a vehicle in the system, right? Whatever you're putting into it. You're getting it rest, or you're getting it food and
Your
whatever
exercise.
nutrition and
Yeah.
exercise. So, but be aware of things. Like I just know my optimal time of sleep is like 7 hours. It doesn't matter, right? But if I sleep at 12 or 1, then I'm not gonna wake up at 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
But if I sleep at 9, I'm up by 4:30, which is a great thing. So now you just got to scale that. Same thing with food. I know, like, if I hit like over 5 hours to 6 hours, I'm gonna get angry. I get a headache, and by the time I eat, I crash, and I have to sleep like 30 minutes, or I need an hour nap. You just got to know your body, right? So, but when you're self-employed, you can't exactly call for a sick day the next day, because your sick day don't make you money in our business. So understand that. What are your sick days? You don't have sick days here.
Yeah.
No paid sick days.
No holidays.
Take all the sick days you want. You're just not making any money.
Yep.
I mean, unless you build a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have passive income. Number 5, staying honest. I didn't write too much about this, but having your integrity in our business, within your colleagues, along with, you know, your numbers, your submit, your clients, how important is that in our business? Pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a license. You can't mess that up. And then last part, number 6, self-discipline. How can we relate more about self-discipline in our business and the good and the bad of it?
My thing is just, doesn't matter how you feel. If you know you got to get it done, just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just having the self-discipline. If you have enough systems, you have enough habits, the self-discipline is the foundation. That's what's going to carry you into our business. So if you don't have anything written down, so going back to number 1, you're not results oriented, you're not going to be self-disciplined, because now you're going to lead based on your emotion, whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. If you have things to check off, you're going to do it, right? So you want to build your systems first, and then create the daily habits of it, and then that becomes your self-discipline. But if you guys need more help, that's where we can come in. We want to be able to help you out, streamline your process, because at the end of the day, it's the easiest part is you just buy leads and call. But then there's a lot of the mental parts and the habits parts. So hopefully this helps. If you don't have any other questions, we have this saved. It's going to be on YouTube on FFL Elite Clips. Please follow us and like and subscribe. And that's all we have for you guys today. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you guys want to subscribe, click here. If you want to watch the next video, click here.